A new pope and evidently a new Vatican, one where there are rock concerts at the Vatican, rap concerts, all sorts of things, as well as pride celebrations in the heart of the Vatican. That's what we're talking about. Coming up next. So the Vatican is once again in the news, this time making headlines for hosting a number of musical artists from several genres. But probably most noteworthy is rap. Rappers at the Vatican right in front of St. Peter's Basilica. We're going to take a look at it. Some people are going to love it. Others are going to hate it. Some see this as incredibly controversial. Others see it as a breath of fresh air and a way to evangelize society. Same way people are seeing the recent news where the Vatican allowed for an official celebration of pride in the heart of the Vatican, in St. Peter's Basilica. This is a situation that I covered recently. It did not get that much media attention for one reason or another, but it certainly raised some eyebrows, especially given that it had Pope Leo's official blessing. And for the first time in history, people stormed into St. Peter's Basilica holding a rainbow cross, pride and transgender flags, t-shirts, bags with profanity, men displaying their relationship with other men in the Vatican. All sorts of things have been going on. And again, on the heels of that is now a hip-hop concert at the Vatican featuring Clips, very well known for their rap songs about drug dealing and killing people, and featuring Pharrell Williams, John Legend, Carol G, and a number of others. So let's take a look at it and see what's going on, because in addition to the concert and rap session, whatever you want to call it, in addition to the performance, there were also some words that Pharrell shared, and we're going to take a look at it and see what all he said at the heart of the Vatican. Let me go ahead and share my screen and show you what's going on. And by the way, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you appreciate the content of this channel. Let's see here. You should be able to see it right around now. See what's going on here. Okay, U.S. band. I don't think that's what you call a rap group anymore, but all right. U.S. group Clips performs with pop singer. I don't know. Is he a pop singer, Pharrell Williams? Or is he more of a rapper? I don't know. I guess he kind of does both genres, right? Pharrell Williams and John Legend. Take a look at this. And by the way, let me enable the audio so that you can hear it. And please let me know if there's any difficulties hearing the audio. Let me know right away in the comment section. All right, let's take a look and see what's going on last night in the Vatican.
And I realized in that instant, our last conversation, you was against it. Told you I was going to Turks for Thanksgiving. I heard what I wanted to hear. But
all right, so again, this rapper right here, very well known for rap songs about drug dealing. In fact, his name is a reference to being a drug dealer. So that's what you're watching right now. Take a look.
Didn't listen. You said you told Gene and Buck needed forgiveness. I see you went to Didi's and stuffed both her fridges. You even told Dad you wished y'all never split it. So you were checking boxes, I was checking my mentions, saying you was tired but not ready to go. Basically was dying without letting me know. I love you, Mad Nige. Hate that he won't remember you. Two things that break my heart is what Novembers do. And T follows you. Now mind you, Didi calls you. Gene finds you. Was that your vision? Precision. While I'm reminiscing, it all hits different. Ma, listen. The birds don't sing. The birds don't sing. They screech.
Yeah. Okay. By the way, thank you, Enslaved by Truth. He says pontiff fatigue is real. There's a new term I've not heard yet. That's a new one for me. Thank you. Okay. So we have that. Here's Pharrell warming up with his famous song, Happy. So okay, let me stop that one there so I don't get a copyright strike or anything like that. Not sure how that's going to work with YouTube playing the actual song, but there he is performing his very, very well-known song known as Happy, or at least in preparation. You can see the seats are right now empty, so that was warm up. But yeah, some people are gonna love this. They're gonna think this is wonderful. This is a great way to reach other people. Others are gonna say, "What in the world?" Now take a look at this. Let me show you another one here. This is Andrea Bocelli performing, and they're also going to show some drone displays that they had. They had some drone displays of Jesus, the Virgin Mary, of Pope Francis, of a dove representing the Holy Spirit. There were drone displays of all sorts of things. Here's Andrea Bocelli, because like I said, it looks like it's a number of genres of music: pop music, rap music, and other things. And so take a look at this. Here's Pope Francis in the drone display right here.
I once was lost, but now
Here you can hear him performing Amazing Grace.
am found. Was blind, but now
I don't know who this guy is over here. Maybe y'all recognize him. I know that's Andrea Bocelli, but I don't know who this other guy over here is. If any of y'all recognize him, please let me know in the comment section. Here's the drone display again. Another one of Pope Francis. Who is this? I don't recognize him. Somebody said Mr. Beast. No, that is not Mr. Beast. I'm sorry. That's I know it's I don't know who it is, but I know it's not Mr. Beast. I'm sorry. Okay, somebody says Teddy Swims. Okay, thank you for that. Others say Jelly Roll. Others are saying Post Malone. Okay, let me stop playing that again so I don't get a copyright strike. Here is Pharrell Williams offering some thoughts at the Vatican. Let's take a look and let's hear his spiritual message that he has for the world.
Stand here in this holy place with my fellow artists, world leaders, and all of you beautiful souls. My humblest and sincerest thanks. First and foremost, I want to sincerely thank His Holiness Pope Leo for opening the doors to this sacred place to us all and reminding us that true compassion and grace begin with fraternity, seeing one another as brothers and sisters and fellow human beings and fellow siblings. Thank you to Cardinal Gambetti, Andrea Bocelli, Kimball Musk, and Nova Sky. And to all the artists, yes. And to all the artists, hey. And to all the artists who have brought their bright light to this moment. Today, I want you to understand that I and all of us, we feel grace, we feel love. Do you feel it too? But what is grace? Grace is a light that lives in each and
And he has the grill in full force right now. Look at that. I wonder, how much do you think that grill costs? The gold grills. Huh.
This is a light that lives in each of us, waiting to be shared. Not just a blessing that we receive, but a force that we extend to one another. Beneath every culture, every language, every story is the same breath, the same spirit, the same light, the light of the universe.
What? Light of the universe. What? What does this have to do with Christianity? How do what exactly is this light of the universe that's in each and every individual? Is this like the seed of the word, seeds of the logos theology? What is this?
The all that is, all that ever will be. This is an opportunity for all of the light to come together. And I feel that we're not doing enough. This is an opportunity for people to galvanize and recognize their strength in numbers. We still haven't done that as a species. We still haven't asked ourselves, for the sake of humanity, far beyond the reaches and constrictions of different religions.
Wait, what? Let me hear that again. What? What is he preaching at the Vatican?
This is an opportunity for people to galvanize and recognize their strength in numbers. We still haven't done that as a species. We still haven't asked ourselves, for the sake of humanity, far beyond the reaches and constrictions of different religions.
Constrictions of different religions. I wonder what the Vatican thinks of that. I wonder how that lines up with Catholic theology, but okay.
Can we just hold hands for a moment and see the light that we have? You guys, put your cell phones in the air. Turn the lights on. Put your cell phones in the air. Let them see you in the world. The power that we have when we come together. This is 300,000 lights, all denominations. The only way to get to that light is to have grace for others. Too often humanity sees difference as danger. We judge before we understand, but grace whispers, wait, and curiosity asks, why? Imagine if instead of saying, you are not like me, we ask, what can I learn from you? What light do you carry that I do not?
All right. So, what light do people of other religions carry that the religion of Christianity doesn't carry? That's his message in the heart of the Vatican. Catholic theology says the church is the fullness of the faith, the fullness of truth. How does this line up at all? How is this maybe not undermining the Christian message at the heart of the Vatican?
And just maybe on the other side of that question mark is the answer. Right there waiting for everyone. Grace makes space. Curiosity leans in. Together, they can carry us toward one another. Grace and curiosity are not luxuries, but guys, they are remedies for division, which there's so much in the world right now. That light, hold it up, because there's division, there's despair. But you can shine your light on the rest of the world. This is how walls become windows and how borders become bridges. How your light becomes my light and my light becomes yours. Make some noise for the light. So we got to have grace for the world if we ever want to get to that light, to that place. So in this historic moment, I ask you to choose grace, choose curiosity, choose them until they become contagious. And together we will flood the world with this light and this love, not with power and pride, but with light and love, always with the light and love.
That was the most secular sermon I've ever heard. And here in the heart of the Vatican, this has nothing to do with Christianity. It's certainly not the Christian message. And looks like Pharrell was given front and center a platform to disseminate a very non-Christian message. What is going on here? And somebody else is saying, LGBT last week being celebrated in St. Peter's with the blessing of the Pope. Now this. Yeah, what's going on? This is wild. Okay. Another person who was featured here was Carol G. Here's what she explains. Bichota is, evidently she's famous for this phrase. This is one of the persons who was, again, given a front and center platform in the heart of the Vatican. Let's take a look at her ideology and see where she's coming from or what she's about. Watch this.
What bichota is?
Bichota. Oh my God, that's okay. I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say it because I'm gonna say it.
Okay.
Bichota. It's a word that I knew from Puerto Rican friends.
Yeah.
The meaning is a drug dealer. Bichote.
Okay.
It's the
Drug dealer. This is the image that she. Okay.
the head of the drugs. Okay. So the word for me. Okay.
Okay.
So the word for me, like the meaning was, I know, tough, but for me the word it's like powerful. So I said like, what about bichota? No, bichota, they don't use it, they use it bichote. No, I wanted bichota. I wanted to create a bichota, but the meaning is gonna be like a boss bitch girl, powerful, great, amazing, doing her things by herself, you know?
Right. Okay. So this is who's invited. So in addition to rappers who are famous for, rapping about drug dealing and killing people and stuff like that, you have this. Again, some people are going to love it. They're going to think this is great. This is a wonderful way to reach society. Others are going to say, no, this is not the way. This is undermining the Christian message. And so there's definitely going to be some differences of opinion here. So this is the Grace for the World concert that the Vatican just put on, along with a drone display here. You can see the Pieta being featured by the drones right over St. Peter's. And they talk a little bit about it here in the article, and they have some more drone displays. You can see there Pope Francis being displayed. Scrolling down a little bit more, right? The Michelangelo image. Let's see what else we have here. We got the Virgin Mary being displayed, an iconography drone display. So all sorts of stuff, along with all kinds of artists from a wide range of genres here, but all part of the Grace for the World concert. Again, this was yesterday. I certainly want to hear from y'all what y'all think about this. You think this is good for the church, bad for the church, undermines the message of the church? Happy to hear your thoughts. Make sure to put them in the comment section. I want to switch gears and show you one more thing that is probably not getting enough attention. Well-known Vatican Cardinal Hollerich made headlines here for saying, I would not define church sexual morality so narrowly. And what is he referring to? Well, when it comes to homosexual acts and the church's teaching that it's intrinsically disordered, he says he would not define church sexual morality that narrowly. He wants to expand and broaden the definition and modify it to a degree. And this is kind of what I told y'all to expect. Expect people to push for this. Now that we've seen, the Vatican officially celebrate Pride, and Pope Leo give the green light to Pride celebrations in the Vatican, you can expect for people to try to push the teachings of the church to no longer say it's intrinsically disordered, that is homosexual acts. You can expect them to try to redefine it, and that's exactly what he's pushing for here, very openly. Let's see what's going on. Cardinal Hollerich stated in a recent interview that he would not define morality, especially sexual morality, as narrowly as the church does today. In other words, he wants to see the church change and redefine its teaching on sexual morality and immorality. At the same time, the Archbishop of Luxembourg and General Realtor of the multi-year Synod on Synodality under Pope Francis affirmed that morality is essential. We cannot do without it. In conversation with the Austrian weekly news outlet, he reflected on his role in the Synod, shared insights on the recent conclave that, again, he was very, very, very instrumental in, and discussed I'm sorry, the synod that he was very instrumental in, as well as the conclave, and discussed the prospects for the church in Europe. Hollerich urged the church to move beyond what he described as a backward-looking perspective. Some look to the past with nostalgia, others with fear. Both are wrong. We are part of a history. This we must accept and learn from, but we must also move forward. So if you are one of those people who thinks that the church's teachings on sexual morality and immorality is to be consistent and shouldn't change, you're looking backwards. And in other words, he's saying you need to look forward. You need to be more progressive on the church's teachings. The Jesuit cardinal spoke in detail about his work on the synod on synodality. One concept that emerged during the process was the image of a tent that needs to be expanded so that everyone can find space within it. Now, I think that there's always been space for everyone in the church. I was under the impression that all have always been welcome to come to the church and, receive God's forgiveness and mercy. He said this image was very well received by many, but not at all in Africa. Their people said a tent reminds us of refugee camps. We want to move beyond tents in Africa. The preferred image was that of a family. It continues, Hollerich emphasized that Pope Francis had insisted on the participation of lay people in what had originally been conceived by Pope Paul VI as a synod of bishops. It was a controversial decision. Some bishops didn't like it. It was still a topic at the pre-conclave, but it did a lot of good for the overall atmosphere. In addition to that, it says Pope Leo XIV, continuity and discontinuity. Well, let's see what it says regarding Pope Leo XIV. Hollerich sees continuity in substance, discontinuity in form when compared with Pope Francis, adding every pope has his own personality. Shortly before his death, Pope Francis approved, while still in the hospital, a document that effectively extended the World Synod process by nearly 3.5 years by announcing an ecclesial assembly of 2028, which, of course, Pope Leo is going to be the head of. Although Pope Leo XIV has since confirmed the plan, it remains unclear what exactly such an ecclesial assembly will entail. Well, I do think that we can know, however, it's going to be in continuity with Pope Francis. He has been very, very, very clear about that on synodality, its model, and also Pope Francis's vision for the church. He's been very clear he's going to keep that going. Hollerich explained that such an assembly is somewhat more flexible than a synod. Canon law dictates who may participate in a synod. He continued, I attended an ecclesial assembly in Latin America where participation was split as follows: 20% bishops, 20% priests and deacons, 20% religious, and 40% lay people. That's a good mix, they note. And more to come on this, but that just gives enough to introduce you to the conversation. Perhaps we're going to see more about it in 2028 or maybe even before then. I suspect there's going to be some perhaps Vatican documents exploring this question further because, again, he is very, very influential at the Vatican. And if he is wanting to push for the church to redefine and adjust its teaching on what is sexually moral and sexually immoral, especially on the question of homosexual acts, then, you might be seeing some documents exploring that in the future to one degree or another. Now, some are going to say, they'll believe it when they see it. Others are saying, well, look, the writing is already on the wall. So I guess we'll find out soon. We certainly are seeing in practice this stuff is being allowed. It's being tolerated. There's openly bishops celebrating pride masses and liturgies with female Anglican, lesbian priestesses at Catholic churches. There doesn't appear to really be any kind of disciplinary measures being taken by the Vatican. Instead of that, there's actually been a green light to celebrate pride at the Vatican recently. So I don't know. Is it going to end there, or are there going to be pushes for more statements on this in Vatican dicasterial documents in the future? We'll find out soon. But I will keep you up to date with any more updates that come about on any of these situations. But if you want to be up to date, make sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell for notifications so you know when I go live or release another video. And of course, drop your thoughts there in the comment section. Do you think this stuff is good for the church or unhealthy? I'd love to hear from you. All right, see you soon. God bless.